within the last month up until GCSE exams, I was writing essays every single day. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I actually really enjoy talking about. I enjoy talking about revision tips and how I study. So I'm going to let you guys know how I got an A star in my GCSE history exams, and it was a very good A star if I must say so myself. And I'm so happy because history was my favourite subject. And always is. I'm still doing it today, so I love history so much. So let's talk about the things that I did to secure my A star. And if you like this video, please do comment down below and let me know if I should do one on like English, Spanish, music, whatever. Let's see how this one goes. So how did I get an A star in my GCSE history? Bear in mind I wasn't a serious candidate. So the trick that I used when I was studying was I always thought to myself, whenever you're revising, remember who, what, where, how, and why. So when you think about who, you think of a key figure. For instance, if you're studying Nazi Germany, you'd be thinking Hitler. That was obviously a key figure in that topic. Then you think where, what's the context of what you're talking about? Where did he do this? So you think about the date, the geographical location, Germany, and what was going on. So you've got that in mind. Then you think, what did they do? Why is he significant? Why are we talking about Hitler in our exams? Then you've also got to consider, how did he do it? That's a really important fact, because that's where things start to come into play. Did he do it through political means, economic means, did he influence society? These are all things you've got to always consider when you're thinking about history. Political, economic, social, how does it all come into play? Then the last part would be the why. Now this is the part that trips everyone up. People tend to just regurgitate Hitler this, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's all well and good, but you've got to think, why is he important? Once you understand why this person is important and why they're significant, and then compare it,
you're on your way.
So yeah, I always bear that in mind when I was revising. I was always like, who, what, where, and why is this character important? And then that helps you when you're in the exam to kind of bring your ideas to light. Then I also had this method that I'm pretty sure all of you know and like know inside out, the whole PEE system. Point, evidence, explain. Every time I was writing my essays, I would always start it with a clear point. So say, I don't know, I'm literally like, don't use this, but to make it simple, Hitler was a bad man. Okay, that's your point. He was a bad man. Give us evidence. So I used to use like quotes, or maybe, I don't know, reference something that happened at that time period. He created concentration camps. Okay, what's the most important part? Bringing explanation. Like, why do you think that? You got to back up all of your points, and that's what I enjoyed doing the most. And another thing I also did was I constantly did essays. I was writing essays for history like it was nothing. And almost every day, to be honest, leading up to the exams. I'd say within the last month up until GCSE exams, I was writing essays every single day. My history teacher, Mr. Ball, bless him, I used to be writing essays almost every single day, and I'd hand that in to my teacher, and he was constantly marking my work and letting me know where I was. So that's nice. Make sure you always know where you are. If you need to improve, they can tell you. So I wasn't very good at bringing in that evidence. That was my weakest point. I always had ideas. I could interpret things. I wanted to go on and on about what I thought, but Mr. Ball would tell me, V, you need to actually back this up with valid evidence. Tell us what Hitler did. Give us dates, give us facts. And that's the most important thing in history, remembering those facts and dates and figures and names. Another thing I did to stay on top as well, I kind of said this in my GCSE video, but whatever. I went to revision classes. I would go to a revision class almost every day, especially in the last month and a half of my GCSEs. I was going to revision classes almost every day. I used to beg Mr. Ball, me and Nicole used to beg Mr. Ball for more and more revision classes. I think we were revisioned out, to be honest, but we were going almost every single day, and I think that was really good because we were constantly hearing that same information in different ways, and it was really nice to have class, do the work, go to revision class, do extra work, then come home and revise, and then boom, you know, it's all in there, you're storing it in. So I think it's really key to go to those revision classes because they were the most helpful thing in my life. And also 100% what I did, I would constantly talk to someone. My poor mom got bored of me. Like, I would constantly be like, can you sit down, let me just teach you something else today. Do you want to know about the Weimar Republic? Can I tell you about Nazi Germany? Wait a minute, you don't know what Hitler did? You're gonna be so like shocked. Let me tell you, I would constantly grab someone and just kind of talk to them, even though they didn't want to listen. I didn't care. I just wanted to keep telling people because that's how much I'd learned, and I wanted to share it. So the more you speak about your subject, the more you understand it, and when exams come, it's like second nature. These things will just come out of you. You're not forcing yourself to remember anymore. It's just there now. Another thing that I did during my GCSE revision was I had flashcards, and I'm literally repeating my GCSE revision thing, but yeah, I had flashcards. Oh my god, I lived with flashcards. Like, my room became a flashcard factory. I love flashcards because I could carry them everywhere with me. You know, like my mom used to take me to a lot of different places to see family and things, so I was never really home. So what I would do is I'd carry these flashcards with me everywhere. On the bus, I just pull them out, start looking, and the key points are there, and it's constantly going on in my brain. So yeah, flashcards legitimately saved my GCSEs, and especially for GCSE history, it was easy. You would literally just do like a character profile for each key person or key day or whatever, and then just kind of list everything. Also, another thing that we did a lot in class, Mr. Ball was amazing for this.
Mr. Ball was my history teacher, by the way. I'm just saying Mr. Ball like you all know who Mr. Ball is.
Mr. Ball was the most amazing teacher I ever had because he was just so passionate about what he did, and that passion rubbed off on me and my friend Nicole, and we just, yeah, his passion was insane. And I think that's what a lot of teachers need to do to like really motivate their students. He was passionate about history, he lived it, and that made me want to do well because I wanted to be like, ooh, I wanted to be impressed by my work, so it motivated me. But yeah, something else that we did in class with Mr. Ball was he'd make us mark each other's work sometimes. So he'd set homework, we'd come in, and then we'd have to mark each other's work using the mark scheme. So he'd give us exactly what the examiners would be using, the mark scheme. Then I would have to mark, let's say, Nicole's work, and I could see the errors that she'd made. So by me seeing the errors that she'd made, I could then learn from them and then not do them myself, because when you write work, I don't read my work back, which is so bad, I need to, but I don't like to read my own work back. So when I read Nicole's and I realised some of her mistakes, and vice versa, when she read mine and she realised where I was going wrong, it helped her not do the same thing, and vice versa. So yeah, I'd really recommend looking at the mark scheme. So when I was marking Nicole's work and having to like stick to the mark scheme, I realised what they were looking for. So Mr. Ball was very smart. I give it to him. So by me reading that mark scheme and looking for errors in Nicole's work to be like, ha ha ha, I was learning myself what not to do. So yeah, I'd really recommend you look at the mark scheme and look at past exam questions and see what could possibly be coming up. I think the worst thing anyone could do is kind of go into an exam unprepared and not knowing what's coming, because when you see that question or the format and it throws you off, that can ruin everything. So try and go in there with the least amount of surprises that you can, because you don't know what's coming up. So the best thing you can do is prepare yourself for like the format and things. That's what I did. I mean, I've put it all in very simplistic terms, and I was gonna give specific examples, but I know that the system has changed now. They don't even call it A stars anymore. They call it 9s and 8s, I think. So I didn't want to come in and confuse anyone with what I did, but that's how I got my A star in GCSE history. I just worked. Think about it, guys. If you sacrifice now, what, you've got 2 months until your exams, sacrifice these next 2 months, really like just work hard, spend hours and hours revising, and honestly, the payoff would be great. Getting good GCSE results opens so many doors for you. It means if you want to do A-levels at certain sixth forms or, I don't know, grammar schools or whatever, that's your way in. So I'd really, really recommend taking these exams seriously, because they are. And yeah, take care of yourself, of course, but I'd really, really, really recommend you start revising now. Just past exam papers, that was my lifesaver. I used to constantly ask for more questions. I used to ask for more work. I was that student that would go back.
Excuse me, sir, can I please have some more? Please, sir, can I have some more?
That was me. I would always ask for more work, and yeah, and ask questions. This is how you succeed in GCSE history. You must ask questions. People used to get things quicker than me. Like, there were these boys in my class, and they used to always like know the answer straight away. And I'm a slow learner. I take a little while to like come around to things. So I'd be scared to put my hand up. But I thought, you know what? I've got to be inquisitive, because if I don't ask, I used to ask Mr. Ball the same question every single lesson. And you know, he was very patient with me, and he would just answer it over and over again until I understood. So yeah, just keep asking questions. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to go into more depth in a different subject like English and actually give you the exact quote